how's it going? My name's Andrew Weingart, and I'm going to be talking to you today about breathing and the power of your breath and how it can enhance your performance as an athlete on and off the field. Today, what I'm going to go over with you is a little bit of a background about your breath, the importance of proper breathing, how to maximize your breath so that you can maximize your athletic performance, and a couple of the key benefits that you'll take away from this session here. And at the end, we're going to do a quick breathing session to teach you how to breathe properly so that you can start to take that into your practice both on and off the field. Now, our most powerful resource that we have as a human being is our breath. Not food, not water, but our breath. The thing is, we focus very little on our breath, and we do very little to actually develop our diaphragm, which is the core and key muscle in the breathing process. Now, if you're not breathing properly, what can happen is you can have lower carbon dioxide in your blood. So that means there's less oxygen being recruited from the hemoglobin. And without going into too much detail, the CO2 is actually needed to recruit the oxygen so that it can transfer it to your muscles or the particular tissue or organ to provide it that vital nutrients that it needs. Now, typically as athletes, we are breathing out of our mouths and we are breathing very shallow. So we're not maximizing the full capacity of our lungs. And I think you would agree that our lungs are very vital to being a top performing athlete. Typically, we get tired sooner than our muscles will give out in an athletic event. So why are we not training our diaphragm? Why are we not training in our breathing so that we can then maximize our respiration, our oxygen, our performance in our sport? Now, some of the ways that you can utilize proper breathing on the field and off the field are as follows. Before a shot that you take, maybe you're at the free throw line, you can take 2 calming, deep, full breaths to get yourself present in the moment and in a relaxed state. You can also do this as you're running. So while you're running, if you can focus on, instead of mouth breathing, focus on nostril breathing, that's going to maximize your performance as an athlete. Now, in the beginning, nostril breathing can definitely seem very overwhelming. It almost feels like you're suffocating and you're not getting enough oxygen to the body. However, science proves that you are, and it's just breaking through that uncomfortable feeling those first couple weeks. Your body will actually start to adjust and you'll actually start to experience benefits from breathing in this manner. Some of these benefits include feeling in a more relaxed and focused mind state. You'll be able to concentrate more easily. You'll be more so in the present moment. You'll feel less pain. You can also use the breath to support with bringing your attention and your breath to injuries and pain points of your body to help in the healing process. Also, while breathing properly, you can increase your energy productivity levels, and you can also exhibit more power and strength in all of the activities that you do in your life. Think about it. When you're going to lift weights, what are you doing? You're exhaling your breath and using that forceful movement on the exhale. Now, if you learn how to properly breathe through the nose as you're doing so with the diaphragm, you can actually take that energy and make it much more productive. You can generate much more power and in turn increase the strength in your practice whether it's lifting weights, whether it's running more powerfully, etc. It's also going to help increase the oxygen and blood flow in the body, which we all know is a benefit all around. Now, the reason why mouth breathing is not effective is because it actually releases too much CO2 from the body. And so now this CO2 cannot recruit the oxygen fibers that's necessary to be able to feed it to the muscles, the organs, and tissues. Now, the benefits of nostril breathing include increased oxygen and blood flow throughout the body, increased aerobic capacity, increasing your breathlessness, meaning you run out of breath, you feel that panting that is much less and much more controlled, and in turn, you're increasing your athletic performance. In addition, if you want to maximize your breathing potential and athletic performance, you also want to focus on slowing down your breath. When you slow down your breath, this gives your body time, the oxygen, much more time to stay in the body so that the CO2 can do its job to recruit the oxygen. And then the oxygen again can be distributed to these muscles, these tissues. Not only will you become more tolerant with this breathing during exercising, you're also going to have additional benefits with this. So your body's going to become more tolerant to this added CO2 to the body. In addition, your blood pressure is going to drop, your heart rate is going to drop, and your overall aerobic capacity and athletic performance is going to increase. Now, where mindfulness comes into play as an athlete is when you can utilize the breath to interrupt a thought that might be happening in your mind. For example, let's say you just messed up a play and your mind starts to think about, man, I just messed up. And then it starts to go down a spiraling rabbit hole, right? You guys know about that rabbit hole. It goes down this rabbit hole, but if you are present to your breath, you can utilize the breath, and in that breath, you can take a moment, instead of reacting to the thought, you can take that moment in between the thought and the reaction, the stimulus and the response, and that breath can act as the buffer time. So the more control you have over your breath and the slower you breathe, the more time you have between stimulus and response. So now instead of a quick reaction of, man, I messed up, oh, I suck, and going down the spiral, you can have, man, I messed up, time in between in the breath, let me calm myself, presence myself, let me refocus, let me tell myself a new thought, get myself back on track. So this is where mindfulness and the breath can come into play. Now that we've gone over the basics of breathing, the science behind it, and the benefits and why it's important to you as an athlete, I'm going to walk you through a simple breathing exercise to make sure that you're breathing correctly. So it's a simple breathing exercise. It's a 3-part breath. It's going to teach you how to breathe properly, because oftentimes those who have never been taught to breathe properly are likely not breathing properly. So all you have to do is come to a seated position, crossing your legs, or you can lie on your back with your knees bent. That's a little bit easier for beginners, but for this video, this purpose, I'm going to stay seated. Now it's a 3-part breath. When you inhale, first your stomach is going to expand. Then the rib cage is going to expand, and then the chest will expand. Oftentimes, if you're not breathing properly, we're breathing from our chest, and part 1 is here, part 2 is here, part 3 is here. We never actually utilize the diaphragm, which is the main muscle that's necessary for optimal breathing. Okay, so we're going to focus on slow breathing on the inhale. We're inhaling, the stomach is coming out. Then we're filling up the rib cage and then the chest. So feel it coming up. And then as you exhale, it's the opposite. You're letting the breath out of the chest, out of the rib cage, out of the abdomen area. Now, you can continue to practice this, and I recommend that you practice this at least once a day for a couple minutes a day until you start to get used to this breathing so that you can walk around in everyday life being able to breathe in this manner. If you want to continue to work on your breath and to utilize other breathing techniques that can help strengthen your diaphragm, that can help increase your energy, increase your focus, gain more power and clarity in your everyday life and on the field, go ahead, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to constantly be putting out more breathing techniques, meditation, and other mindfulness practices that you can use as an athlete that's going to give you an edge over your competitors, and ultimately it's going to give you an edge over your previous self. Because I like to talk about how can I improve myself? How can I continue to move forward as an individual? Not necessarily compete against someone else, but really just enjoy the process of the game. So if this video resonated with you, please give me a subscribe, share it with any friends, any teammates that you may have. And in some of the next videos I'm going to be putting out, I'm going to be focusing on other breathing techniques that can help you elevate your game. See you soon.